Raise your hand if you're burnt out.
We're day 3.
I'm not.
We're day 3 here.
No, that's right, because we're here for education, right? We're here to network, and we're here to share in the joy of like-minded people.
Yep.
All right.
So, you know, are we going to start?
All right, let's do it.
Got to really get these lights down. Okay, so we're going to start.
So I'm Sasha Almazan.
I'm Gene Mollica.
And we are GNS Design Studio.
Yeah, we're
Cover
GNS Cover Design. So earlier we had a conversation on branding. Now we're going to touch on branding again, but we're going to dig deeper into custom characters, which Sasha and I always feel really defines the custom brand. That's why most people, we have 2 tiers. On the higher tier, that's really what they focus on. So.
Also the lower price range tier. You can develop your character just as much on that, and I feel like there is maybe some confusion on that. Just because you're using stock doesn't mean that you're not going to build your character, and we're not going to. Sorry? Oh, I am. Oh, I don't want to talk like this. Maybe he has to turn it up. What's that?
Testing.
His is good.
Hello, hello.
Yours is working. I think it's a good angle.
Oh, okay, let's try this.
We're doing great here. It's a little 80.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So if you're using stock, you still want to build. Ooh, hey, there we go.
We're going to get a T-shirt for this.
You got a T-shirt, man. I'm going to set that aside right now. Here we go.
Yeah.
So you still want to develop that character. So don't ever feel like just because you're not doing a custom photo shoot, you're not going to build that character. We still can make that character for you, and it can represent exactly what from here needs to get onto the cover, what you've put inside the pages, right? So I feel like sometimes, have you ever felt like you go to a cover designer and they just throw you a cover because maybe you're a little bit on the lower end price-wise, and then they're like, here it is, and you have to say yes or no, but you don't really have a lot of input on what was put on that page or on the cover? Well, I feel like you should really push for that. It doesn't matter what your price is that you're paying. You've spent so much time developing that book, right? It didn't come from here. You spent a lot of time. Anybody, did you write your book in 3 days? Raise your hand. No? Okay, right. So did you spend a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears? Yes? Raise your hand. Okay, that's what I thought. So don't you think you want to put that on the cover? Right? You want to sell what's inside. You want people to stop and say, oh, I want to read that book, right? If you spend the same amount that you would spend on your advertising, maybe buying Amazon ads, but you're advertising a cover that's really not so great, so you're spending money on something that is not going to get you anybody clicking. If you have a cover that represents your target market, then once you get people clicking, you're then making the money, and then you get your advertising. Then you spend the money on the advertising.
Yeah, we were talking about this
Yeah.
earlier, like specifics versus generalities. Sasha and I always approach every single project with talking to the author, learning what the character, who the character is, what do they look like, and going after that to create the unique vision and the unique branding. I think if you're going to go after generalities, then your branding's getting weakened, and then people have a lot of questions. Why is my book selling? Well, perhaps it's not just the fact you didn't maybe target the audience, but you didn't tell the audience what's really in the book either.
Right.
So that's what we're going to cover today, a couple approaches on how to get that done.
Yes.
Do you want to stand here and I'll go
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So,
No video?
no, the video's further down. You want to do the video now?
You guys want the video first?
Let's do it up. It says a lot. This picture's worth 1,000 words, right? All right. Here we go.
Is that big enough?
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Okay. We're going to get there, folks. Let's do it. Okay. Maybe louder. Yeah. He's got to do it. I think he's got to do it. Custom branding.
That is custom branding. That was a really fun shoot. That was really fun. And creating everything from her covers to her social media package to her typography, doing video work for her, her 3D, the box set.
Yep. We did some hand lettering in this one. We shaped it up in ZBrush. We got, and so it had like more of a cinematic title treatment. We may have even made some custom costumes in this one. So.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah. Any questions on that? Good. Okay.
You guys do all of the photography and everything yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you basically do everything.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't create costumes.
Well.
We create the looks and we've drawn them out, but we
Yeah.
don't actually sew. Well, Sasha sews.
Well, actually, I do.
don't.
Sometimes when we had Lucinda Brandt, and one of the costumes came in from London, and it was so small. Even our model was small already, but I had to rip the front off and attach it, and then put some material in it and sew it on her. I basically sewed the dress onto her, and then put all the skirts and everything on underneath. It took 45 minutes just to dress her. And then I built 2 wigs to go on top of that. But it was historical romance, and she was very, very, very specific, and over 1,000 pages in this book.
Yeah. Oh, for those people?
2 years.
A day each. A day for one cover.
A day for one cover.
Yeah.
One cover.
And then you put the whole package together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from when the author said, yes, let's do it, to when you delivered, what was that time?
Okay, so the first cover, may I say this?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time we did it, we had to design historical gowns. That took 9 months. So the second time, we had 6 books in the series. So after that, what we decided was they're going to hire costume designers from all over the world to deliver all at once, and that took X amount of months, maybe 8 months. And then we were able to line up our photo shoots and go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So,
But usually it's like we're going to break it down a little bit later in here how we do that for the shoots. But with Lucinda, that was very specific, and they live in Australia. So we had a lot of, for me, I'm on the East Coast, so there was a lot of like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. phone conversations, Skype of us and her jammies, drinking coffee, and me like getting ready for bed about how we were going to tackle what it was. And some things came in late. I mean, she actually had a pineapple hand crocheted, and then it's now been put in some museum somewhere. So that was really interesting. Beautiful, beautiful covers, but she was, she's a,
yeah.
she's
Yeah,
best-selling
terrific.
author.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have, on another video, we've got a sample of that. You might
Yeah.
have seen it if you came by our table. It's really beautiful stuff.
Yeah. So then we have our stock site here, Has anyone been to the stock site? Has anyone been to the, yeah, well, definitely Robin.
Yeah.
So when I don't think we can get to it from here.
No.
Right, okay. So on our stock site, we have a lot of different genres. Can you make that larger?
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess I could have done the same thing. So on our stock site, we have different genres. And then when you click on it, we have, couples. We have females with weapons, without weapons, male with weapons, without weapons. We also have everything, everywhere that you could possibly imagine. Chess, we have just chess. We have cloaked figures, whatever. So we can still create a very custom look from that. And we do head swaps. Some people just want like chess. So like when you're doing romance, you don't have to have Shutterstock and have that one chest that everybody's using, right? That same chest, and then they're like, well, maybe I'm going to darken it down, or maybe I'm going to put like a tattoo over here. But you know what? You can come to our stock site and pick many different chests. So it doesn't have to be like you're not in the same group on Facebook and you all have the same chest, and you're like, well, you want to be in this, you want to target your market, but you don't have to give them the exact same cover, right? You don't have to give them the same chest. All right. So
Yeah, so our stock resource works out great
back
for starting out. Let's just go this way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's back to the video. Oh, sorry. So okay, here we are with briefs. Hold on. So, yeah,
Just
go
there.
there, Robin.
All right, so R.L. King, who happens to be sitting here with us today, when we worked with Robin, this is what happens first. She gives us a very clear picture of what she's looking for, what character she's looking for, what that character looks like, what the feel is for that, and then what we do is we reach out to different agencies, and we are able to send headshots to the author, and you choose from there which one you feel best represents your character. And even if the hair is different, I have wigs, we have wigs, we can change eye colors, we could, all
In
these
Photoshop,
things in
too.
Photoshop later. So that shouldn't be anything that stops you. And then we go on to creating the brand. So you'll see here that some of these photos here, and you'll recognize that one is here. So we then send everything to the author, and then they scroll through and they decide which represents that cover, like what number. And Robin is on book 31. So she had, I don't know, maybe 600-700 shots that she could choose
more,
from.
probably. Yeah,
2,000.
way over that, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we have a lot.
It's a blur. Next.
Yeah.
Which book?
It would be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, this is just like the summary of the brand. So, then we do a type exploration after, as our next step. And once we have that, then we've got the series look and brand sort of established. And then we roll out the series. And in this case, it's extensive. And it was also rebranded about book 9 or book 12 or something. We jumped in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which it was book 21. I'm trying to, okay. Right.
But you see that
Yeah.
when it comes to branding, you know that this is R.L. King. You know that this is Stone Chronicles, right? So this is, when you have a series, you want to stay with that branding. You want to keep similar, if not exactly the same typography, and you can change it with, obviously, all of the titles are changed in color, but it still represents her brand.
Yeah,
So-
one of the big, I think, issues we saw on Monday, a lot of authors came to our table and they were struggling with the brand. And it was often like they're not, they're being shy about their own name. It's like it's not being prominent enough.
Yes.
And sometimes there's not a series title, and sometimes there's not a book number, and sometimes there's not a cohesive idea of what it is. And sometimes logos can really help with that. A logo or some clear identifier of what the series is, because we want to definitely hit our audience very, very quickly and get the right audience. So logos help, type treatments help.
And then when you have multiple series in that universe, in that world, You also see how Robin here is still R.L. King, and this is a different series, completely different series, and it's still, you know that it's in her world, in her universe, and she has the same typography for her name. So when someone's scrolling on Amazon or on their Kindle, they are like, oh, that's R.L. King. I love her books.
Yeah, and we actually have a different font here for the title, but it's very, very similar to what we did in her other series. So there's a relationship there, but it's subtle. We were asked that question earlier, and yeah, definitely. Keep the name the same. Series title could even be somewhat similar.
Yeah.
Just think about those things.
Change.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For Lisa Phillips, you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah, so Lisa Phillips has a very extensive series like Robin has. So she asked about custom photography. How can we do this custom? So we said, sure, we'll do a custom shoot for this series. It's a new series she's releasing. And so when we set up our creative briefs, we set them up by cover. So, time of day, year, costume, what it should be. So we have a nice variation. So we have a sense of colors, like what's going to happen throughout the series. And of course, these things are flexible and they'll probably change as we go. But it kind of gets us started in getting that series established. So we'll bring the model in. We'll have winter coats. We'll have weapons. She'll stand against walls. We'll have her on apple boxes. We'll have them in all different poses. So the author is inspired by the ideas. We're inspired, but I think if at least it might come in later, but I think what she was saying was it just gives her so much to work with.
And for advertising, and when she's doing her marketing, she asked it here, right?
Yeah,
Talk
that's
a
a
little
print
about
ad.
that. Right. So this is her print ad, but
Yeah. So she had a campaign at a conference she was going to where they had an internal magazine. We produced the print ad for that. Here, we're just showing the series for everybody to see in the magazine. And so a lot of the work, that we do, because, we build everything, it's all custom, it's all yours, you own everything. We can do anything we want. We can print it as T-shirts. You can go into ads. You don't have to worry about rights and usage and licensing or anything like that.
Is it their internet? This is not changing.
I think it's the Wi-Fi, and it's a PowerPoint presentation, so it's got.
All right. Any questions yet? Because it's loading.
If you ask a question, you get a T-shirt. First two.
Well, only first two.
Yeah.
There's only two left.
Just to restate, you guys do, I was really amazed that you guys actually you don't necessarily give the writing stuff, but you give the artwork and everything else like that for the
Oh, yeah.
author to be able to use.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not something where you're locked in and you get a single piece of video.
No.
That's what you get.
You get a portal. You get a Dropbox portal with your whole photo shoot, with all the JPEGs on there, preview JPEGs. The high res are too high to put on Dropbox, so we kind of store that on our server, but it's yours.
Right.
We share the rights with you because you're not really asking for a buyout from the model. So rather than messing with that, we have the rights from the agency, but so it's yours,
Yeah.
essentially.
And the stock
as well
site,
as the art.
right? And from the stock site, you still, just because you didn't do the custom photo shoot, you still have your portal. You still have your Dropbox.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go in there and you can use that for advertising. Same way that you would if you had a custom photo shoot. Like, we want you to be successful.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. If you're like, is this an
Yeah.
old link?
Or
I
let's
can't
say,
get into the Dropbox.
Yeah, or let's say you're
Yeah.
not ready for your paperback.
Yeah.
You just want to get your U cover, and then a year later come back for your paperback. Well, that's fine. Or you're not ready to do your audio. You come back 2 years later for your audio. So things like that happen too.
And sometimes, like, we have been in the business a long time. Gene's been in it longer than
Careful.
I have. Yes, he has been in it a little bit longer than me. And we're not going anywhere. So the whole point of giving you a Dropbox is that if you're not ready right now, like he said, for your audio, maybe you're just not there yet, so next year you are, great. All that artwork is there for you. It's right there. And when you're ready for it, you say, hey, guys, could you size that audio up for me, for my audio cover? No problem. We're going to pull it out from the Dropbox. We're going to send it to you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be months on end. You obviously have to give us some time, you know, because I'm sure we're juggling 1,000 things. But, you know.
Would there be a charge for that?
Sorry?
For doing it from in the hardcover, for instance, you can charge for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yes.
Yeah. A la carte.
That's a la carte at
Yeah.
that point. That's like, which are really, like an audio cover is what, 45?
Audios are 45.
$45 for your audio cover.
Yeah, paperbacks are 175 because we do art extensions on them.
Yep.
So basically, once you approve your e-cover, when you're ready to go to the paperback, we kind of like reformat the whole thing. We build it
Right.
out as a horizontal because we're obsessive.
Very obsessive.
And we'd love to get really, really creative with the spines. And then from there, if you want a copy for Ingram Spark, we knock that out just as a dupe for a fee. We have the the laminated cases, hardbacks.
Yeah, you'll see all that up here. And as far as like going to any of the cons or anything like that, we're going to help you out with all of that stuff. You see here, from right
Yeah.
there. This is Justin Leslie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some of these images are 80 inches, high res, huge files. So we almost treated that as a separate project, just to take
Yeah.
the same art that's already built, at very high res. So when we go and we scale it up, it's quite easy. All the information's there. It's not like the image falls apart on us. It actually is more exciting to see these things in different formats. So we built a couple of 80-inch verticals for him. We built wall pieces, tablecloths. Yep.
So when you guys, and that extra fee, to me, that's a time fee. 'Cause all
Right,
this is gonna
exactly.
take some time.
That's what we do.
So
Yeah.
when you're producing, like, let's say, the wall art,
Mhm.
banners and things, are you guys actually producing just the file, or are you actually producing the
Original art.
prints, that kind of stuff, and shipping that, or is that somewhere else?
We could.
We could, but Vistaprint is great. And if you were here this morning, Justin was like, "Yeah, I can't do that." He's like, so he asked us to do it for him, which is absolutely fine. And we created. You look here; it looks like his covers, but that's new art. So we tweaked it a little bit. Like we may have to extend it a little bit. We may have to change it a little bit. It's not a huge fee. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then we just ship it directly to the client.
Yeah, and then it
In
just
that
ships
case.
directly to you. It doesn't have to come to us, it goes directly to you. Yes, sir.
I've been exclusively crowd published so far, so I'm considering doing something with indie, and obviously publisher handles all of this.
Right.
Right.
All of the covers have always been where it's like it's photorealistic. Like the artist is Kurt Miller, and he'll begin with a model, but he goes from there to digital painting. He doesn't transfer the image. And I don't know what the agenda is for the whole 2 hours today, but are you going to discuss anything apart from the photography-based covers? Is that any part of your?
We're going to do a cover build.
A cover build, yeah.
We're going to show you a breakdown. It's pretty quick, but just to kind of demystify the process, we're going to show you, in a little video.
Do you have insight into the differences in the effectiveness of the marketing based on the different kinds of imagery, not by person versus object, but by photograph versus photorealistic versus abstract realistic versus whatever the style might be?
I'm trying to, but I'm just, maybe clarify your
So
question a little bit.
some covers have very realistic, like those. It's a person who's clearly from a photograph
Yes.
with things added in digital.
Yeah.
Some art is original art, whether it be electronic or ink or pastel, whatever the medium is.
Right.
It's an actual painting that's
Yeah.
reproduced on the cover of a book.
Yeah.
Some book covers are very abstract, like Neil Stephenson covers are famous for this. Very geometric, very distinctive, bold colors relating to the story. Big time author. And others are even plainer than that. So I'm curious if you have insight into the effectiveness of different kinds of.
Talking about, that's sci-fi, right? That was a sci-fi. Is he a
Stevenson is
Yeah,
sci-fi.
yeah, he's big time sci-fi. So sci-fi categorically, they do things a little differently. They'll get into these huge landscapes. So they're trying to show these giant vistas.
Right.
So a lot of times what they do is they use concept artists for that, because they love the brushstrokes and they love. So that is more like, okay, that market loves that. Those readers love that.
Okay.
So those art directors and those publishing houses often go to those concept artists, and we know a lot of them. So that's the reason for that. I mean, in other words, it wouldn't be an option for urban fantasy. It may not sell, because anytime you step into a market, you have to fit the market.
Right.
And not only do you have to fit the market, but you got to decide how you're going to be in that market and be unique.
Right.
So if we did something like that, it would be almost like a graphic novel look.
Right.
We would look at combining something that would be more appropriate.
Right. And you'd have to ask yourself, am I really targeting the market? And is someone going to, please?
Is it true too that trad and indie art cover concepts are separate? I mean, like they can do things in trad that indie
Well, the trade is so conservative that they have a formula that works, and they're going to stick to it very, very closely. I mean, we talk about painted covers. They were, they had, John Paul and all these famous painters painting those covers for romance authors for quite a long time. So they really stick to their models.
Yeah.
Indies are a joy because they talk to us, they communicate very clearly.
Yes, very clearly.
And we can take a lot more chances, be much more bold with our colors. Your colors, for instance,
They
maybe
pop.
a little, yeah.
They pop,
Yeah.
Robin. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. But we do a lot of sci-fi. That's actually, we do a lot of that. It's something I love to do. But we also build covers that are just ships, right? And just space. But we do that in 3D. So we'll build that in 3D and then it's completely,
Yeah.
whether it's like a ship or a car, a planet, like that's something that we just take a different, it's
right.
just a different process.
Yeah, and to your point, in fact, that's right. We actually did that. We brought it all into 3D. When we painted it, we actually pushed the painting a little bit to kind of match more closely to what you were describing earlier.
Yeah.
We brought the colors up. It got a little bit more geometric, a little
Right.
bit more linear, because again, sci-fi categorically, that's where they go aesthetically. And so that's something we can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, what I probably was talking about this earlier, but jumping around from Lisa Phillips and her branding, she did a custom shoot, and then she switched it to, they just walked in, switched to using the stock site because in this series, this is a long series, and there's a different model on every cover. So she went to the stock site, and we're able to send them to her and just say, like, she gave us her direction was
Hot guy on
hot
cover.
guy on cover. Book 2
With
was
a town.
yeah, with a town.
No, it was
We're
much
like,
more.
a town that has mountains.
No, actually, in all
No, it
fairness,
was kinda like
it was
that, and
something,
that's okay.
but no, we were actually talking to them. I mean, she had
Yeah.
again, we started with briefs, and we had a very nice brief. Lisa
Yeah.
prefers all of our clients do. And it was very interesting. She was really getting into the portrait. So Sasha and I were like, okay, we really got great portraits. And say, well, thank God we have a stock site for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the second was, or maybe it was the third, it was like, not white. Great, okay, we got that too, no problem. Yes?
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
So if y'all doing a cover, and like if I had, like pictures I had taken,
Are they high res? Are they nice?
oh yeah. Like,
Oh, yeah. Okay, done.
yeah, it would have, like we took some pictures like in Canada and like, some of the lakes up there. So
Yeah.
like if I had a cover, like I want to incorporate a landscape, and even if like the image was altered a little bit, but like if I gave you that image, said, hey, like could you play around with this? Like is that something that y'all, or even use that as inspiration for a cover?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
you would send it to us probably for inspiration, and we would be able to find something similar to that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
or
that's
Or-
even, like
okay.
using that photo, but I guess like capturing the.
that feeling.
You see it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm incredibly passionate. So, and I get really,
If you didn't pick up on that earlier.
I get really,
So-
really, really crazy about details also.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, the author comes to us and I start a folder immediately. And we ask you to send us photos of your inspiration. It's important for you to send, whether it's us or anyone else, whoever is designing your cover, you have to say, I like these types of covers. Send them examples of what
Yeah,
you like. Because then
absolutely.
you are going to get that back. And if you don't, then go somewhere else. Because you're giving a really clear picture, hopefully, of what you want. And then hopefully you'll get what you want. So I kind of digress here. Let's see. So here we were able to do her series with our stock site. And go ahead.
We were already there.
Yeah.
So now we could go to
Yeah.
some examples of
there you go.
using stock and getting a realistic look. In fact, this was for HarperCollins.
Yeah. So we.
I'm going to say that too loudly. There's at least 6 shots making up that guy's chest. We
Yes.
took the best shots from all over the internet.
That's right. And this is a lot of painting.
hair.
This is a lot of painting because it's a bummer that you really can't see this, but you could go into Barnes & Noble and pick it up because it's there. Or go on Amazon.
Yeah, Gina Konkel's the author.
Yeah, Gina Konkel.
And in fact, when they came to us, they wanted stock. And I think they were struggling with approaches or budget. I'm not quite sure. We're not sure. But they asked us to do it that way.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find the stock. So we worked with them to find and source the stock. We actually ended up using our own.
Yep.
And then all the other subsequent novels we've done a photo shoot for.
Yeah. Maybe it was COVID. It was like end of COVID.
Could have been
or something.
COVID.
I can't remember. That's a
Could have
whole
been.
blur.
Yep.
That's really a blur. But you'll see here how from the stock site, we then created this. The guy looks different. It's got long hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot of painting on this, a lot of pops of color. And here, go ahead.
Yeah.
This one.
Well, just a still life. We do a lot of still lifes. We love still lifes in case that's ever a question. Very moody, very fun. We're all about it. And we shot that particular product or project, but it doesn't have to be shot all the time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Go next one.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes.
Under additional options, paperback with
Mhm.
art extension, what is that?
The art extension. Yeah, so the art extension, we like to work vertically because, now some people, because a lot of artists know they're going to have to do paperbacks, they're going to have to do banners, and so sometimes they'll work wide to save themselves time later. We prefer, because we love foreground elements, we basically say, look, we want this vertical cover to look awesome, okay? We're going to worry about the other assets later. So we want that cover to be strong, because a lot of times you work horizontally, you're kind of ignoring the fact that this is going to be a KDP, vertical image. And so if you're losing your foreground, you're losing your depth of field. It's I think you lose something on that.
Yeah.
So we want to go, and then when we go to paperback or we go to banners, then it's on us to fill out the rest of the scene, and that's what the art extension is.
Right, exactly. And sometimes you'll just get gray or black, right? When someone does your paperback, it should be an extension of the art,
Yeah.
right? This
Yeah.
should be an extension of what is on the front.
Right.
You should be able to follow that through.
Yeah,
and
and
then
the
you're
other
going
thing,
to have your blurbs, which are really important.
the other thing
Yeah.
you might want to find out with whoever you're working with is, I like to use InDesign. We like to use InDesign because it does two things. One, the typography looks a lot better than Photoshop type. Photoshop's not really a type tool. It is for theater. It is for titles, and not for dense copy, not for body copy. So we build the art in Photoshop, then we export to InDesign. We'll follow the KDP templates, and we'll do all the copy flow in InDesign, and then when we want to package that, it gives us our PDFs, it packages the fonts, it packages the templates, it gives you a lot of information. We give that all to you. So it's just a good record and just easier. Something you might want to ask about.
The InDesign, that works with CMYK, whereas Photoshop doesn't, right?
No. So, that's just a color mode. So, your RGB is
But you can't print all the colors you can.
yes, you can. So that's a great question. So this is how it works. This is how Photoshop works, okay? Because we went through this for years in Major Pub, okay? We were too scared. Most of that was because we didn't understand Photoshop well enough. So, when Photoshop first came out, we're using hard lights, we're using blend modes you cannot reproduce in CMYK. You shouldn't be using those blend modes. You should be using the safe blend modes so that your colors will come out accurately. But you should use RGB because your colors are going to look more beautiful, and all your adjustment layers are going to work a lot nicer, and your file size will be lower. So you want to be in RGB. When you go to InDesign, it'll be fine with that. When you package it out as your PDF, just set it for CMYK. It's golden. You're fine. And you're not going to have any color distortion because you didn't do the wrong thing initially in Photoshop. Because I know, because I did that for years. We were giving people color, like, oh my God, how did you achieve that? I don't know, we're probably never going to get it again. And so after we made a lot of mistakes and had to rebuild stuff a million times, we realized you can use RGB safely, because CMYK isn't going to make you very happy to look at, as you're working. And Robin would hate it. There's no saturation at all. Yeah.
Do we want to jump here? And
Yeah.
show this one here and then come back here?
Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, okay. So now this is a video that is, okay, this doesn't have a soundtrack, so we're going to see how this goes.
We're going to talk over it.
Yeah, we're going to talk over it. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to photo bash. We've got some 3D assets, and we've got some stock photography, and we're going to mix it all up here for you. Is it going?
I don't think so. We got to come down here.
Oh, yeah. It would be really nice to go full screen on this, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And where's that at?
It's not coming up.
Okay. Let me.
Full screen on your video. You can't full screen your video.
Ah.
I mean, the video's
I think we're here, yeah.
you didn't full screen your.
Oh, right.
Right. Because
Yeah.
things.
So, you know, one of the things we look at is what's our color field. Hopefully this is moving in real time and it's not too slow.
It's not even on.
Is it working? Yeah, okay. So, you know, here's how we work. You know, we're in Bridge. We've got all of our stock pulled. We've got subscriptions with Shutterstock. We've had it for years. That's all licensed free, the way we use it, because we chop it all up. So by the time we make our artwork and it's done, you're getting an original piece of art. And that's
Painted
their
over,
terms.
Yeah.
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 So here's a shot from a studio, and that was sort of a base we were going to work with. And then we start building our skies. That's the lasso tool.
And
So
layer
you're
stack.
custom meeting all their percentages so that you can.
Well,
avoid the
not to.
rights issue.
Well, we would also build like this anyway. You know, we would do this anyway. And then, yeah. So we're finding our horizon line. We're building out. You know, we built out the palette. Now we're going to drop in our stock, which we shot in the studio. We're going to fiddle a little bit more with that sky. We love building custom skies. And
Day.
time, yeah.
gotta
And
be just
now this client wanted, we thought this would be fun to show you. So, okay, wanted military stuff. So that's Daz. That's a Daz asset. So she's got all the military style stuff on, plus the weapons. And we're mapping this over our model. So you can do this with levels and curves and match it all up and match the color. We're just going to do some cleanup work. I wasn't sure of your patience level, so I cut this really down and sped it up quite a bit.
When I say we're detailed, we really
Yeah.
very detail oriented.
Sasha's the most detailed person I've ever met. I mean, her eyes for composition are quite incredible.
Thanks, Gene.
It's true. It blows me away, really.
Using the Daz shoulder and skin, or is it mostly the models?
We kind of mix it up a little bit. Daz has some great textures, as you may know. And sometimes it's kind of amazing how the skin texture, it all matches beautifully.
The fact that you can blend them, it's amazing.
Yeah, you could blend it really, you could do it really easily. And then here we thought,
There wasn't enough face, so we went and
Right.
found a face. We needed
Right.
a little bit more. Because I
Yeah.
want some more face.
we're going to throw a face in there.
I wasn't satisfied with it, and I knew the
Yeah.
client wouldn't be satisfied with it, right?
And if you did get a shoot, you know, we may still do something like this. You know, we may decide to,
Robin knows. She'd
mix
be
it
like,
up
I
and head
really,
swap.
Robin would say, I really love this image, but I love the way his face is here. So I'm like, no problem. We're going to take his head off. We're going to put his head on it over here. And then she's happy.
cleaning up the hair. We love painting hair. We love painting rim light. We're really big on all this stuff. This video is going to rather quickly and touch on some of these things.
So like you guys are pros at this, right? But I know that this takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Like your skills are way better than mine, right? So but how long does this type of thing typically take you in labor hours to accomplish this? Because people like if you don't do something like this, you have zero idea and zero
It's a great question.
appreciation for
Thank
it
you for
because
asking
you
that.
don't know what goes into it. Like,
Exactly.
how many hours
This is,
does it take?
so, okay, this is without the research.
Yeah.
Basically
Off the
a
cuff.
day.
2.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, probably 2 days.
2.
You remember it was 2 days? I think it was
hour-wise?
2 days. Okay.
No, maybe like a day, a day, and then we look at it the next day, and I'm like, that's not right. And then we go back in, and I'm like, we should do this, and now looking at it, like we step away. We work on multiple projects at a time.
Yeah.
Because if we get frustrated with one, or we just feel like, okay, we can revisit that, you're giggling. and maybe we sent it off to a client, one of them, we're waiting for their feedback. They're processing a little bit, we'll move on to something else, so then we'll pick it back up, and then we'll look at it and go, oh, you know what, I think we need to change this. I think it's like too bright over here. Where's the light coming from? Where's our light source? So then we might go back at it, and then we want to like give her a rim light because the light is coming from here. So then we're going to add that, which you will see maybe in this one. And you want to hit her shoulder.
I think we're going to touch on it.
Yeah. Okay. Or there's too much, or it's too bright, and then we need to bring it down and have maybe more depth, or maybe we look at it and say like, I don't think that there's enough distance in the front. We want to really make it feel like they're back. It just takes a long time, but this one, we did this in a teaching.
Yeah, it was a teaching example, just covering some photo techniques for our cover kit group that we had. So this focuses mostly on the character, and there's the final shot. Now, we would still push this much further.
Right.
But that's sort of the sense of how these work and how we place them in an environment. We would probably still go, oh gosh, many more hours, and really tighten it up, really get that background built out, get that sky built out. And then what we would commonly do, let's say this is the first book in a series. After we have this inspiration, let's say the author loves it and they say, okay, great. Then we would go into a whole type investigation and series title investigation and logos. And that's a one-time fee. And then once we get book one really tightened up and looking good, then we say, okay, we've got our series look, and then we're going to go forward.
The color
the
on
rest.
here is, because the color on here is great. So maybe
Oh,
later
wow.
if you want to take a look
That's
at it.
amazing.
I was trying to see if I could pick this
Oh
up
my
and turn it
God.
around without like,
That's two different worlds.
oh God.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that's what we call like a calibration issue.
Ugh. I don't know.
What,
I'm a little nervous. This cord is here.
a little tight?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Just don't want to mess it up.
Oh, I hadn't. Thank you for saying that. Gosh.
Oh well.
It's no. We can go to the end.
All right.
Here, we'll go to the end. Yeah, people love the color because.
Wait.
What
I
was
put
it?
it on pause. Just pause it.
can't-
Try it again. All right.
I don't think we can turn around.
All
with
right,
these
we can't.
cables.
But if anybody wants to
You're
see
welcome
what
to
it really
come up
looked
and
like,
take a peek.
if you want to take a peek, you're welcome to. But we'll move on. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, because the color's quite nice in there.
Okay.
Come
all
on
right,
up.
Great.
Come on up. You're all welcome to come up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Make it
That's
larger.
awesome.
Can you make
Yeah.
it larger, Gene?
You guys, you have to see this. This is amazing, yeah.
I think maybe
Night
just.
and day difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry, guys. I had no idea that the screen was giving us this, well, let's say horrific
That's beautiful.
color.
Yeah, it's not even the same.
No.
Not even close.
No, not at all.
So what you're
No,
seeing
we don't
here.
work in all yellows.
It's not even the same.
It's
Come on
not
in,
the
come on
same.
in
Yeah,
closer.
let me
come
get
on
out of the way.
closer.
Come on up.
It's this machine, this Panasonic's probably not talking to this thing properly.
The one up there kind of reminds me, remember those old black light posters? you used
Yeah,
to have
right.
in the
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what was happening. I was like, how come I'm not saying anything?
Yeah, I think it's the projector. Yeah.
Did everyone? Sorry?
bleached out all the reds.
Yeah,
It
there's,
totally took all the red
something
out.
wacky here.
Yeah.
Did everyone get a chance to see?
Hey, how do I make
Okay.
it just that? Like,
All right, bring it
that's
down.
Too bad.
Yeah. Okay. So now we could do another video. We could do the one with Michael's car. They seem to be really
Yeah, why not? Let's do
responsive.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do one more for you because we got such a good reaction from you on that one.
We're gonna speed it up. We're gonna speed it up a little
Or this
bit.
one's sped up and has a soundtrack.
Actually, I think that's a good lesson because sometimes the monitor that you look through
Oh yeah.
is not the same as what you guys are looking through.
Yes.
So there's two things going on here. This is our PC. We don't work on this. We use this for Blender. But you're right. You should always have your monitors all color calibrated. This are not communicating at all. And we need a tech guy that really knows color really well to find out what's going on with that one. I have no idea.
Because right now, what we're
Yeah.
looking at, and then we look up here, I'm like, again, I'm gonna make
This
you
is
get
better.
up
I mean,
so you can
the,
come
the
and
slides
see
are
what's
okay.
it.
It was that
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
So I'm not sure it's
But
really.
even this color, so let's
Yeah.
run this one.
Yeah. So this is another build. Now this brings in a 3D asset, which we thought that would be fun. Yeah, we sped it way up.
Will you guys be talking about that, kit thing?
The cover kit. The cover kits?
Sure.
Yeah, we're happy to. Yeah. Once again, this is on our stock site, and we were able to just choose one that I thought looked really cool, and I thought she was really badass. So we decided to give her
Use her.
something really cool. And we did take we took a lot of our steps out, because you'll see the layer stack over here. So
It's only 100 layers.
There's only 100 layers there, because we really wanted to get the shine. We wanted the street to look wet. And there's your car. This is 3D.
It's a 3D asset.
Yeah.
Now we're color matching.
And then maybe pause this one also at the end so they can come up, take a look, and see what the real color is.
Sure, yeah.
And this was several days, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Because like, I think people, you know, you never know what goes into things
Yeah.
if you've not done it.
I want
Right.
to touch on something here. So if you all don't know about this, Adobe sometimes does something right. They've got something called a color wheel. It's on a website, so just Google it. But it's a neat way to create color palettes, and we sort of bring that up here. It's a good way. One of the things you want to do is establish color palettes. This is a good tool. You can actually pull gradations from it.
color wheel then brings everything together.
Yeah.
Wow, you are not seeing worse than.
Anybody wants to come up and see it here, you're welcome to.
Yeah, if you want to watch.
And now it ends.
Now it ends, but we'll
We'll bring it back.
Bring it back up here. See.
We want to get you some exercise, so we thought the more we bring you up and
Wanted you
down.
to stretch. You know, they say every 15 minutes you're supposed to be moving, and then you
Come
get
on up.
to yeah, come on up and take a look at this.
Come over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on over here.
We'll stand back. We won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yep.
whatever we hand you is going to print fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as you start in RGB first, right?
You could start in CMYK if you want to. It's just very limiting.
Yeah, when you transfer over.
And it's also a large file. I mean, those files, four channels. It's going to slow down.
So Vistaprint calibration for colors.
Given what they can do, great. I mean, they could do anything in 24 hours to ship it to you. Like, God bless. And the color's really not that bad. I mean, it's really not. I mean, yeah, sure, you can go finer print, and you could wait longer and spend a lot more money. But by the time they package and ship it to you for like such a low cost.
And if you're in a conference.
Like the fire, when you see the fire here, that's really what you're going to get. You're not up here. It's like yellow blob.
Right.
But
So
we
if
really
you're
work
really
on fire.
trying to
I
show
love fire.
art,
We probably
wouldn't go
put
to
sparks
Vistaprint
in
for that.
later.
I mean,
Like,
you're trying to show
what does
banners,
fire
just
do?
pull
It
people
sparks,
in
right?
through
So we want to have
booths.
sparks
I'd
like
use it.
exploding everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
Do you want to continue to watch videos? We got one we
No.
showed twice already.
No.
I'm so obsessed with these things.
Come back and
What do you want me to do?
go to our
Go to presentation.
PowerPoint
Yeah.
presentation. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Yeah, now I guess what we could do is we can talk to you more about the branding, where the brands go. Yeah, it'll come up. It'll come up.
Question on your video, unless it's a trade secret.
Uh-huh.
Where do you guys get your 3D assets from?
Well, we build some of them. These are built.
Yeah.
This ship was built. The car was built. We don't do that. We'll hire very, very talented 3D artists to do sophisticated stuff like this. Yeah. And we will build a lot of geometry that's, pretty easy for us to do. But cars are tough. Yeah, cars are tough.
Yeah.
Also, Well, this was a video too. We needed that asset for a video. So
Yeah.
we had to make, if it was just one angle, one time, we could photo bash it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we needed that car to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can double click that, Sasha.
It's like,
Yeah.
what? Do I click it?
Yeah, let's, okay. Okay, I'm gonna show you this. Can we get that bar out of there? Here,
I don't know.
hold on. And where's our sound on this? Oh, I hear it, but is the sound down? I think they turned the sound down on us.
No. Why? Our time
Yeah.
is up? No.
No, we were talking. So this was discussed early in the series that Michael wanted a video. So that's the reason why we went to good artists to give us these assets, because we knew he wanted to do a video, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
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 So that leads me to this question, and I don't know if you've done it or not, but I know that models are definitely not actors, but if you want to do a 30-second trailer and use your model, is
Yeah.
that a possibility?
Totally,
Well,
we did it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we'll show you that video.
So
we also have that video to show you.
I think, well, like Jenna Wolfhart, what happened was funny. We were shooting behind the scenes of a photo shoot, and we ended up using that video footage and brought it into a video trailer for her. And
Yeah.
it wasn't green screened or anything like that, but it worked out just fine.
But we do have
Yeah.
a green screen that we did for Ella Summers, and we had all of the models come in and do something like throw the magic, do the sword, like yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, with green screen right behind you. So, geez, let me see. What's this one?
And you don't run into any IP rights with that again, because you guys done everything with the model.
Yeah.
We make them
Oh
send
yeah.
their lives
yeah.
away.
They. And you know what? They actually love it.
They have a
so
ball.
much fun.
They
They're
have a
like, this is
ball.
the best job I've had. Whenever you need me, you call me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they
until then it was
love
like, oh,
They
runway,
have so
they
much
hate it.
fun. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's different for them. And for Shane Silvers, Shane came to us and we rebranded Nate Temple for him, and then we continued to work with him, and then we did Feathers and Fire, and then we did Phantom Queen.
Yeah, Phantom Queen.
Phantom Queen. And that was his world. That was, he calls it his universe. So there's Temple Universe. So we then created for him box sets. So with his logo, this goes back to branding. Each
Yeah.
one of his series has a logo brand. So that's how he calls it the Temple Universe. And so we made a huge banner for him that had his universe in it, just like we did for Justin Leslie.
Yeah, so
Right,
like
yeah.
in this case of the paperback, we feature the logo, and you
the
can see all
universe.
3 logos back there, and it just gets the fans excited.
you
They're
can
like,
see
oh,
it, but
God, are we
it
getting
says
this?
a Templeverse, and those are all the logos for his world.
Where does he use them? Like, how do you use those?
That's his paperback. Those are on the back of his.
On the paperback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's-
website, paperback, hardbacks,
Yeah.
trade shows.
That's marketing. Yes,
Yeah, totally.
absolutely. We have a social media package where it comes with the banners, it comes
Yeah.
with sizing for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And if you want, like here, Shane wanted, can you make that happen?
Right
Here.
I get to feel so important when I get to do these simple tasks that I know. Whoa!
Oh, so simple, hey? so simple. Stop talking. So that's, and close, yeah.
What a mess. Oh my God. Here we go.
So his box set, we created the logo, but now all of his box sets it has his cover, but the other box set has this cover, the lion. I don't think he's up here right now, but he's in fire red. And then he has a unicorn, but it's a black unicorn, and it's on fire, right?
Nate
Like how do
Temple
you, yeah,
series,
yeah,
yeah.
for the Nate Temple series. So that one we changed also for all of the book covers. So it's a good way to use your logo. It's a good way to have your branding, just tying everything in. Now let's go. Oopsie,
You gotta be kidding.
that's not my phone.
And ultimately, like, you guys give huge value in the fact that, like, it's fairly easy for us to go in and say, hey, we want this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
a lesser
Yeah.
qualified person is like, no, now I have to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not just waiting in the wings.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
if you pay okay, I won't be specific because I'm not trying to be insulting to any other cover designers because everybody has their place, and I get that. But I also feel like it's investing in yourself, right? So if you pay $350, you're going to end up paying so much more instead of if you start at the lower tier. If that's what you can afford, you start there, and then you come to us and we just sell it a la carte. And you're already working with us, right? So we want you to succeed. If you don't succeed, you're not going to write that next book and you're not going to come back to us and say, we need the next cover. I need the next cover, right? We want to help you get to where you need to be, where you want to be, and become successful, right? You put all of that effort into writing this book and your series and the next book, and you want to create a world, and you have all of this going on in your head. Well, guess what? Give that to someone who does that for a living, because we are passionate about what we do. We love what we do. We want you to be successful. So you be passionate about what you're doing. Let the designers be passionate about what they do.
Yeah, we ran into an author, who attended the morning session, and what his comment was, because he's just getting started, he hasn't got his first book out. We met him as we were getting our TC. He's like, it's nice to know, we're trying to demonstrate here today the scope of what you should expect to get and what you should know is available to you, whether it's us or another design studio. These tiers exist, and you should be seeking this out.
Yeah,
For
don't
sure.
be afraid to ask questions, right? Because when you're writing, you send it to your editor, you send it to your reader group, you send it to all these other people. Well, your designer should be one of those people, right? We're part of your team. We're creating a team, right? We're creating
There's too much
a relationship.
obsession with this quick, get it out, and obsession with cost, and then I think it ends up costing them much more
Right.
because the product doesn't work, and they've got questions. And
Leading into that, we are going to welcome up Mike Mercer.
Mike Mercer, we're going to use you as an example.
Come on up.
We met Mike last year here. You had some products out.
I've
We're
got
gonna-
3.
Yep, we're going to show those now. And again, as
Let's let
Sasha
Michael-
said,
Laughing.
Michael, tell
Well-
Many people, I was new to this and
Right.
so forth.
and one of the things that, so this is not an insult in any way,
No
of anybody's
insult.
work, but it's an example of understanding your target market and what you're trying to achieve and how to get there. So Mike worked with somebody who said, hey, I'm going to do this for blah, blah, blah. Don't ask more questions than that.
So what genre do you think that is? Are you just being kind?
Because most of you have seen my tags up here. Okay, so can I?
Please,
Go for it.
take it
So-
away, my friend.
So what happened last year is I came here not knowing anything, not knowing anyone, except for I took a friend and kept him forever. He's dressed like Darth Vader back there. And I met this other guy just by chance. We're at lunch, and we got to talking. He's a 6-figure writer in sci-fi. And I said, it's my first time. I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, let me see your books. And I pulled them up, and he looked at them, and he goes, look like romance novels. And I said, okay, I've heard that before, and I had. And then I found out that readers have an expectation of the genre that they're reading out of. And his best advice was go and find your top 10 competitors, Publisher Rocket or whoever who's selling the most, and send those covers to your cover designer and say, hey, we kind of need to look like this. And that's what we did. So I met these guys, and I was apprehensive and so forth because I didn't know
So
what to expect.
apprehensive.
So much
5
so.
times.
Called us,
Call.
backed out. Called us, backed out. We're like, no pressure. We're here
Well-
till 5,
You don't know
Yeah,
anyone. You
yeah,
don't know anyone.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'm just like, okay. And so I went home, we emailed and so forth, and I said, ah, the hell with it, let's go.
No, your wife said no.
Yeah, and the wife said no. 'cause
I
but I said, okay, this is the budget. It's like, can you get, and they worked with me. So, I mean, I can tell you the importance of the brand. Can I?
Mhm,
Yeah,
please, please.
Okay, so you can't really tell on each one of these, but if you look at the corner, each one of these, the outsides are done a specific way, the name's done a specific way. So there's no doubt when you go on Amazon or anywhere else that these are my books. If you look at these, it's almost the same name. The corners are almost a little bit the same. These are a little different, but the name, every one of these you can tell these are going to be my books. And I think it's important about branding and putting yourself out there so when your readers go out there, they know what they're looking for if they want to continue to read their book. these guys are actually a one-stop shop. Not only do they do the cover and everything else, they have a guy that's behind the scenes named Cyrus.
Yeah, he's a production guy.
And he does, and his degrees too is in
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Print production.
And he does the
All this.
format.
Uh-huh.
And there's things I didn't know as well, is that when you read Open the Mystery Thriller, that the font should be Garmont. And I didn't know that. I went with things that I liked before. If you saw the others, like, okay, these look kind of cool, and I think they'll be okay. And by doing these changes, this book here came out about September 15th, and that's the only book I'm advertising right now. And I know it doesn't sound a lot to you, but I'm just doing Facebook ads, and I'm averaging about 23 to 25 cents per click. And I've already made over 1,000, I think, just on this one book alone. I'm not even advertising the other ones, but I'm picking up other reads, my Kindle Unlimited for these and my box set, just because of this one book. So I think the covers help tremendous because it draws people's eyes to it. And you don't feel bad when they send you something and you don't particularly like it or something. And because I was apprehensive first, like, I don't know about that, you know, and so forth. And they just found out last night that each cover they send me, because I won't respond right back to them right away,
Yeah.
and they're thinking I don't like it.
Well, it's like day 3.
Yeah, we freak out.
It's like day 3, and we're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, should we call him?
We're like immediate response,
Yes.
but don't always get it.
Yeah, but now they know that each cover they send me, it goes through my wife's opinion, goes through my 2 daughters' opinion, my best friend and his wife, and another couple and his wife, my mother, my brother, and his wife.
That's
So
just
we
day 2.
all-
Everybody does this to
And
us.
so, and like these guys here, right?
Michael, you don't have to do it secret, Troy.
Yeah, right?
So we were talking last night too, and now I'm going to let you know, when people ask, Michael said it yesterday, and I had asked some other writers the night before, what is your biggest fear as a writer? Would anybody want to share what your biggest fear as a writer is? I will. I fear that I'm not the writer that I think I am. Okay? So so when I send these out, I'm like, okay, I want to bring the best product I can to my readers. I want them to be impressed with not only the covers, but damn, I want them to like the story. I want it all to be packaged nicely. And the cost that I spent on the other covers, if I would have just come to them, I would have saved a bunch more money. And they know about branding. They know about
Targeting.
the right pictures up. And it's interesting, they send you a form, and you're looking, what the hell is this? And they go, who's your main character, what's your story about, blah, 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 and you fill it out, and that's how they created this first one.
Yeah.
And it's like Christmas morning when they send you a thing, I'm telling you. And the other guy last night, Jeff, goes, isn't it? He goes, you get it from them, and you hit the button, and the picture comes up, and you're like, so it's wonderful. So yeah, I mean, that's
Thank you for sharing.
and thank you guys for doing it. And they
You,
also,
Mike, thank you.
social media packages as well. And I showed him something last night.
Oh, this is so cool.
This is amazing.
So, you know you can buy billboard ads, right? And everyone worries about the cost of them. Do you know you can spend $20 for a digital billboard ad in your local area? And it'll run all day, and it'll come up so many times. It's only like 20 cents or 10 cents every time it comes up. Just go onto the website, and you can upload. And I uploaded Heartbeats of a Killer, and I showed it last night because it was at nighttime. And it looks like the sky is
It was
bright
amazing.
stuff.
I was like,
And, yeah,
amazed.
so he goes, he looked at it, and it was funny for the artist to look at it and goes, is that mine? I was like, yeah, that's you guys' stuff. All I had to do was increase the pixel size
Yeah.
or something.
So hit him up after today and make him show you that, because he has it on his phone, and it's pretty awesome.
It is.
It's
It's
really
really cool.
cool. It's really cool.
But again, I can't, I would say use them no matter what. It's the price you're going to spend, and it's not a lot. When I say the price, some people go, oh, okay, he's talking about a lot of money. I don't know what they're going to charge you, but just do what they tell you to do, and I think you're going to have a great experience of putting your covers out there.
Michael, do you feel the increase? What has happened for you since
Scott.
getting rid of these? And
Oh, yeah, I've sold more books.
okay, did everybody hear that? I sold more books. He sold a lot more books.
People are looking and going, okay, it really is. I mean, can you go back to this?
Sure.
Yeah.
He wasn't targeting
This
his
is a
market.
romance novel. Okay, look at them. All right, this is like my bodyguard. But I was desperate. I was like, okay, because this is all the person that they could come up with. And and they're using stock photography. Matter of fact, how I knew it was stock photography, I found another book with the same damn background. And I was like,
It's just like-
right? It's the same image. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well,
What they don't know is I took this picture of the mountains in the background. So
I will say this, these images, there's a flatness.
yep,
You don't
Yeah.
have that depth of field.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, no one is, they're just, so. I really get up here and just go with them.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the same thing all over again because I think we think it's very insightful
Yeah.
for you to hear about this.
Right. Does anyone, so again, I mean, if you want to look at actually what these look like, you could take a peek here if you want to take a peek.
Yeah, we don't.
Or you could go on Amazon,
Yeah,
just like
we're
click
not-
on my, Michael
Somebody
Mercer.
last night looked at my book and they said, you know, it looks like a lot like Mark Dawson's book. And I said, oh, I wonder why.
And there you have it.
Well, okay, so this is Lisa Phillips and Scott Phillips, and this is their series that we showed you earlier. And again, they had a scope of this project. It's quite extensive, so we did a live shoot. And it was really, Scott and I were talking. He's like, if you're going to do a panel, we'll come and tell everybody what we got from you. I was like, done. Yes.
I wish I was a smarter man.
Is it not on? Do we have mics? Okay.
It's
This one?
wide. Yeah, you gotta use the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, and then I'll just grab this. And,
Oh, there we are.
All right. So, the question again.
Well, you can tell the audience a little bit about the working, how we got to this creative place and the deliverables. Do you feel you got what you needed for your marketing purposes? Did we meet the target? How did it
Just
go
as
for
far as just from the author side. So, I mean, that Cold Dead Night is like book 61, I think. So I've had a lot of series. I've had a lot of different attempts at covers, and I've got stuff that's branded really well, and it was very like mid-range cover. And then with this, I knew it was going to be a long-running series. It's a single POV thrillers, so I knew kind of it. And as far as the book was already written, which I don't typically do with, I usually have the cover first and then the book. And so I knew just that the book could carry the weight of putting a little bit more money into, all the series branding and making it look distinctive, because I'd had the same cover designer for the last few series, and I really wanted something distinctive, and so it just really made sense to put a little bit more money in it and do the shoot and just have it look awesome.
Yeah. So Lisa's the fabulous author. I run the business side of everything. And so from my perspective, for the advertising, monetization, and longevity of the series, going with a professional firm. Before this, it was a cover designer who did it as a hobby, right? It was not his primary job. He was great. There was really nothing wrong with what he put out, but because it's his second job or his hobby, he wasn't as responsive. It was sort of a take it or leave it kind of thing, right? And then also getting a hold of him at times was difficult. But knowing that this series specifically had the potential of running 20, 30 books, being like a Mark Dawson style kind of series, right? You need that branding. You need something that'll carry through. You need someone that's going to be with you in the long haul, right? So we had to up our game. With most people's author businesses, right? You grow with your product, right? You're going to start out with stock images. You're going to start out with maybe a customized pre-made, but you should be upping your game as you go, right? I heard another talk earlier of for authors, this is not from an author, this is from a non-author, but it's interesting, right? Your first book, you write the whole book, and they're all, go back and edit the first couple chapters, because by the time you get to the end of the book, you're going to have learned something that you messed up in the first couple chapters, right? The same thing with your business, right? Marketing, branding, getting your covers. You know, you get a few books in, okay, I'm starting to get some profitability here. Let's put a little bit more back into it, because I know that generates a click. A cheap cover that has no depth like the one we looked at before, someone's probably going to scroll by that, right? Whereas this thing, wait, what? What is she? What's the fire? What? What's behind that door on her right or on her left, right? It creates that interest, and you have 5 seconds to grab someone, right? And you need that branding, and you need that depth and that intrigue that grabs someone, because I'm not selling a cover. I'm selling what's behind the cover. But that cover is the door that gets you there. And if you don't put money on the door that's going to draw people in, then to an extent, what's behind it doesn't really matter, right?
Well said. Well said.
Well
Thank you.
done. We're going to write that down. Wow.
Trademark Scott Phillips.
And this is Justin Leslie, who you guys did see some of his stuff here earlier. I'm going to go through here. Justin, do you want to, if you want to get some, wait,
It's right there. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while. Do you want to talk a little bit about
it's thinking.
it's thinking. The profit that you've made, the profit margin, and maybe talk some numbers here for some people,
Yeah, sure.
and the rebranding?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, introduce yourself.
Sorry. For anybody here that wasn't here earlier today, Justin Leslie. I write the Max Abaddon series. It's an urban fantasy series. Currently, we're about 6 books into it. I made the mistake every young indie author makes, where they think they have it all figured out. We go through, and I think I had the best covers, and I had the best marketing plan, and I had the best brand. I had it figured out. Come to find out, I didn't, right? But on the plus side of it, when I sat down and started looking at what I really needed to do, and started getting feedback, and I kind of talked about it earlier today, where I started getting comments from readers going, hey, what orders are your books in? And I'm like, well, it's, they're in the order they're in, right? Book 1. And it's all the things that, I never really thought about initially. And I'm a business-oriented person, obviously, as well as a creative. But it's the things where I started really looking at it, and I turned around, I mentioned it earlier, I looked at the books on the shelf, and it just looked like a glob of books with a title on it. And to point, I think you were talking about it when I came in, I mean, catching, the only thing eye-catching about it was a book, had my name on it, and it was very catching to me, right? So I liked it because it had my name on it. But what I ended up doing was, as a fairly, and I'm still fairly new out in the industry, but I did very quickly what I did. I got a hold of course, I look to surround myself with good people that absolutely are the masters of what they do. And I have learned a very valuable lesson about that, right? So at first, I went into the project, I'm like, okay, this is an investment on the front end, but then I look at the people that and the product that they put out, right? And I really start looking at sales, I start breaking things down, like, man, a lot of the people that are in there that Gene and Sasha are doing their covers for, they're getting a lot of pull-through, right? So the very first book, what we did was, I believe it was the 5th book in the series. We said, we're going to start with that. I'm going to put it on pre-order, and I'm going to see what this looks like, right? I've already made the initial investment on it, and for me, it's what I needed to do, right? I figured it out. Plus, I knew some other authors that told me, kind of the same thing. They went through the same process to a point. And what I noticed very, very quickly was my pre-orders were at least 50% higher than on all my prior books, right? And so I already had a little bit of a fan base built up, so I knew I generally knew where how many pre-orders I was going to get, right? I know the pull-through I get because Luke Daniels does the audiobook, so I know the pull-through I get from Luke. But one thing I noticed was literally at a 50% jump, and I pushed books out really quickly, so it wasn't something that stewed for quite some time. I noticed about a 50% increase almost immediately on my pre-order. So I was like, all right, we might be on to something. And then another week goes by, it's on another 10% up. And I think it ended up being 75% higher at the end of it on pre-orders alone. So I'm like, holy cow, I really wasted a lot of money prior to. So what ended up happening was we went through that process. My pre-order was up 75% from all my other books. And then I started tracking. We went back and then we did the first book, and then we did the second book, and then we did the third book, and then the fourth book. So we did it kind of sequentially as we went through the process, because I realized I wanted to get them out as quickly as I could, but I also wanted, going through the process of it. So literally, my Kindle, I do Kindle Unlimited for the ebooks. Everything was up, I want to say, within the first month or so of the first book. Kindle Unlimited pull-through was up about 30%, 35%, somewhere around through there. My paperbacks were up, I think it was probably about 5 to 10%. But then it kind of built on itself. So my second book and the third book, they all hit that almost immediate 35% increase in revenue. And then slowly, my first book, I saw it started to go up as well. So there's other factors involved in there as well, because I was also using marketing products from them along the way. And we got up, I think, time always tells, but from a metric perspective, I mean, it was around a 50%, which is drastic, right? From just something as simple as a cover. And on top of that, when I would go out to, I noticed a couple of other things started happening when I rebranded. I started getting phone calls from companies, hey, wanting to do work, and a lot of, there's just a lot of different things that come out of it. So, but from a financial perspective, I literally paid the initial spend from the first book in pretty much, so that we did. So I'd pre-order in. So made a lot of sense as we move forward. But yeah, I learned that all that money I spent on the covers prior to was me pretty much, I felt in the way, you don't feel like you want to throw money away, but I really look back retrospectively, and that was the one thing I wish I'd done on the front end now, that I thought I was okay. I've got a $300 cover I got from somebody on Fiverr or online, or, and, at the end of the day, the difference, it was dramatic. It was immediate, and it wasn't a slow burn result. So, but that was my experience from the upside from doing the covers. But yeah, and you can see the quality of them. I mean, everybody that sees my covers, they're just like, holy cow, They usually throw a couple explicitives out there saying that my covers are better than theirs and all that stuff. But in the genre, I'm not saying in general, but just in the genre, I've a lot of other author friends and that work, and some of them actually use Gene as well. So Sasha, but yeah, that was my experience on the front end. But it's very quantifiable.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
for saying
Justin.
that. Thank you,
Really
Justin.
appreciate it.
So there's an example here. So some people are like, I don't really know if I want a logo. I don't know what that logo is. But if you notice on book 1 and 2 and 3 and so on, his logo is down here under, like right above the Max Abaddon novel. So you're going to see right above there where the book number is. That is his logo, where you have fire and water, right? So the magic. It's a bummer because the color is amazing here. Not so amazing here. So once again, I wish we could yikes.
Jeez.
Lisa, there was something we spoke about earlier. Do you remember you were going to talk about? And I can't remember. We had lunch today, and there was something we were like, bring that up. Well, I can't remember. It was so good though.
Well, we have a few seconds left.
Any questions? We have.
Should we do a video? You guys want to see another
let's
video?
see it. Yeah, come on up. If you want to see that, come on up. Yeah.
I want to say it was probably like, as an author, I can get hung up on, I want this on the cover, I want this on the cover, I want this on the cover. But really saying to them, it's a small town with mountains, they're first responders, the guy's a police detective, and then you send me a cover, and I'm like, yeah. And that's literally as complicated as it got. And so, because, whatever I can envision, like, I'm not a designer, so I don't know how that's going to translate to what will look good. And then also, oh my gosh, I just forgot the rest of it. Oh yeah, or I've given cover designers examples, and what I got, and that it just was the wrong example. And so, now the series has the wrong feel because the example was wrong. And so, it's kind of it's hard, but, the more I can just let you guys do your job, the cover's better for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Vicky?
If you remember the first time you said put one cover, it had the hourglass there.
Yes.
And I'm looking at it, it had
Do you want to speak into the mic?
There is no mic,
Oh,
but
oh. You want to pretend? This
There's no mic,
is Vicky.
but I also sing for a
McGehee.
living, but that's
She's
beside the
singing.
point.
She loves the mic. We're going to end with that.
Loves the stage.
She on? Is she on? There you go.
Yeah.
You fill up my senses. Oh, very good. Okay. Yeah, now, the first time, sorry, I had to do that. You know, nothing will go on anymore. But look, the first book cover you sent me, we had the hourglass, and I thought, the snake, I've got to get the rainbow serpent in there. And we had a talk and a chat, and straight away you said, oh, around the hourglass. And you went away, and you came, and it just blew. It just raised at another level. So they will work with you, you know, when you have another idea or you've got another concept, and you can put it in, and it just raised the whole, you know, up another level.
Yes.
And now it's just going to continue to be part of that. And book 2, once again, is also, the cover for that is up another level, because you got it.
Right.
You went and researched Aboriginal spirituality, the rainbow serpent, what it looked like. You put time and effort into your own research, and you've told me that. You didn't know all about this culture.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So, yeah, the effort is put in it, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's excellent. Vicky.
I love that point. Once again, coming back to being detail-oriented. I went and researched the Aborigine people, and I wanted to understand what it was that she was explaining to us, because we didn't want to miss the mark. I never want to miss the mark. I want to make sure that we get it right, because whatever Vicky took the time to write and whatever was her passion, we want to make sure that we are meeting that, and we want to be, let you know that we're going to do that for you. That's the goal. And anyone who's yes.
It does.
I think Scott wants to add something.
I was just going to say, I think when you write your book and you go with this cover and you're like looking at it and you're saying, oh, I love this cover and so forth, I'm just the best advice. I know I'm new and I shouldn't be giving much advice, but the heartbeats of a killer, when I tell people that changing the cover over and you go with where Amazon puts you in your categories and so forth, the best I've made out of all the serial killer books out there, I topped 151 recently and so forth. So you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of high up there. I mean, of all this other serial killer books out there, and I really believe it's because of the cover art. And I can't push it enough. I know you feel great about the book that you wrote, and you're doing it for one or two reasons. You want to write the book because you feel good about writing this book, this topic, this story, or whatever. That's great. If you want your cover art to sell the book, then do it for the genre and what they expect to see on the cover. Because just because you like the cover, like I did, doesn't mean the book's going to sell. You have to give the readers the expectation that they're looking for. Everyone says right to market. I say put your cover to market as well.
Well
That's
said.
another great quote. We got to write that down.
That's another one. Scott, go ahead. Did you want to add something?
Well, it was effectively to what they were saying, just to reinforce. It is a collaborative experience, and on both sides, you can't be obstinate, right? Both have to be willing to allow some variance from what you think is going to be your cover to see what they can come up with, right? You should have a similar relationship with your copy editor or your other editors, right? Like they should come along with your story to help make it better, right? And your cover designer should do the same thing. They should lift it up, right? And bring it to be something that someone is intrigued by, and then they turn the page and they open and they read your fantastic story, right?
A lot of things that we like to do also is we ask you, like, I'll read through the whole, we both will obviously read through what you send back to us.
A lot.
A
Yeah,
lot,
very
like
carefully.
multiple times. Like we keep it right there. Sometimes we
Yeah.
put it up. And if I don't see that you've got some special little thing in there, I'm going to ask you, is there like a totem? Is there like a tattoo? Is there something? Is there like a special car that's like
Totally.
following this guy around or this woman around? Or is there a mark on their gun? Like whatever it is, there has to be some little
Specifics.
Specific. What's the egg?
It's specific.
The egg,
Easter eggs.
Easter egg. Thank you. So when the person is reading your book, we want them to go back and be like, what? Is it on there? And we want, if we could put that on the cover somewhere, your readers and your fans go back and look for that.
Yeah.
So those are fun
Yeah.
details that we like to add in there.
Well, it also, as as designers, it helps us because we're creating a unique brand. So we're looking for what's unique about your character. So everything, that's our whole job. So we're looking to create an identity. Well, how are we going to do that? We need to know everything about this story, the character, the worlds, are unique locations, what is in there that we can say, hey, this is you. This is your name on this, and we're going to push that out there. So give it everything you got. So don't work in generalities. Work with specifics. Get really excited. Heart pumping excitement. This is your world you're building,
Right.
and that's how you
You're
should do
taking
it.
the time to write it. You love it, right? You obviously love your book. Let us know everything that you love about your book, and that way we can give you a cover that you're going to love as well. And then your fans are going to love that. Send it out to your fans if you have like a reader base. What is it?
That was actually a question I had,
Oh,
because I attended, was it relational marketing earlier today?
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about gamification, a little bit different from what I learned 10 years ago, but one of his things is getting, building super fans and minions and
Yeah.
work for you. And one of the things he was talking about is, getting your fans' opinions of titles, book covers, that kind of stuff. And are you going to participate in that? Have you participated in that kind of a process?
Have we?
Our authors often go to their Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And so that's our nail-biting 72 hours after we hand over something. Mike uses his family, immediate family. Other people use
I think
focus
Justin
groups.
might add to that. Justin might be adding to
Justin
that.
goes to Hunter, and they bust each other back and forth and ruin it.
She
she's
brings it to her
Biggie's
school
got high
kids.
school kids. So, to stand here right now took a lot of strength. We've been through everything.
Hi, you're waving. We love you too.
Oh, you have a question?
Oh, time. Time is up. You have a question? You want to add
question
to
over
it?
there. Oh, we're out of time.
Oh.
Okay.
Does anyone want to add anything? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it,
Yeah.
and we look forward to
Hope it
working
was
with you.
fulfilling for you. Hope you got a
that
lot
too.
out of it.
Yeah. If you have any questions, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.